Claire Whitman buried her husband on a Tuesday morning. By Friday, the entire company was hers. The mansion, the accounts, the empire his family spent 30 years building, all signed over in her name. She thought the hardest part was over. She was wrong. 1 week later, walking past his study at midnight, Claire stopped cold in the doorway. The lamp was on, and there he was, sitting in his old leather chair, reading glasses low on his nose, exactly the way he used to sit every single night before he died. She had watched them lower his casket into the ground with her own eyes. So how was he sitting 15 feet away from her, staring back like nothing had ever happened? Claire didn't sleep that night. She wouldn't sleep peacefully again for a very long time. And what was coming for her next was far worse than anything the police could have ever done. Claire was 25 when she married Daniel Whitman, 27, the owner of a logistics company his father had built from nothing. Their romance moved fast, and for a while, it looked like love. Daniel adored her. He trusted her completely, updated his will within months of the wedding, and never once suspected that Claire had married him already carrying a mountain of hidden debt that would disappear the instant she inherited everything he owned. 2 months into the marriage, Daniel started feeling sick after dinner most nights. Dizzy, nauseous, his heart racing for no reason. He blamed stress. He never suspected his own wife, quietly increasing the dosage each week, patient, careful, certain no one would ever trace it back to her. One night, Daniel didn't wake up. Claire called the ambulance 20 minutes after he stopped breathing, timed carefully, and cried convincingly at the funeral 2 weeks later. The company's lawyers processed the inheritance without a single red flag. Claire became the sole owner of Whitman Logistics, the mansion, the accounts, everything. For exactly 1 week, she felt like she won. Then, late one night, walking past Daniel's old study, Claire saw him sitting in his chair, exactly where he used to sit reviewing contracts, reading glasses low on his nose, looking up at her the way he always had. She screamed and ran. When she forced herself back minutes later, the chair was empty. She told herself it was exhaustion, grief playing tricks on her mind. But 2 nights later, she caught his reflection standing behind her in the bathroom mirror, and this time, his expression wasn't gentle. It was still watching, silent. Claire stopped sleeping properly. She started leaving lights on in every room. She avoided the hallway outside their bedroom entirely, because that was where she saw him most, standing perfectly still, saying nothing, simply watching her the way a person watches someone they no longer recognize. She never told anyone. Who would believe her? And worse, if she admitted how afraid she was, wouldn't people start asking why? The truth was, Daniel was never coming back. He wasn't a ghost. He wasn't a warning from beyond. Every version of him Claire saw existed only inside her own mind, built entirely from guilt she couldn't outrun and fear she couldn't control. The fear had a very specific shape. Claire knew, somewhere underneath the money and the mansion, that poison left traces, that autopsies could be reopened, that one overlooked detail could end with her spending the rest of her life in prison. That fear never left her. It just changed shape, night after night, into the one person who would know exactly what she'd done. At board meetings, she'd glance toward the corner of the room and see Daniel standing there, arms crossed, and lose her train of thought completely in front of executives who used to respect her. She started missing meetings entirely, terrified of walking into rooms that reminded her of him. Nobody investigated Claire. No detective ever knocked on her door. The police never came close to the truth. Her punishment was never going to come from the outside. It was already living inside her, growing stronger every night. Daniel appeared a little closer than the night before. Within 3 months, Claire couldn't run the company at all. Contracts were missed. Major clients walked away, unnerved by a CEO who seemed to be unraveling in real time, canceling meetings at the last minute, staring at empty chairs during presentations, whispering apologies to no one in the room. The board tried to intervene gently at first, suggesting she take time off, hire a temporary director, get some rest. Claire refused every offer, terrified that stepping back would somehow prove her guilt to people who had no idea there was anything to prove. By the 5th month, Claire was barely sleeping at all. She'd sit in the mansion's kitchen at 3 in the morning, certain Daniel was standing just behind her shoulder, and she'd talk to him, quietly, apologizing, begging him to leave her alone, to let her rest just once. Her sister finally found her one morning, sitting on the floor of Daniel's old study, whispering to an empty chair, unaware that hours had passed. Claire was admitted to a psychiatric facility that same week, diagnosed with severe stress-induced psychosis, her guilt having finally overtaken every part of her mind that once functioned normally. She never faced police. She never faced a courtroom. There was never enough evidence for anyone to charge her with anything. But Claire never left that psychiatric facility either. Her condition worsened steadily over the following year, the hallucinations growing more frequent, more vivid, until she stopped speaking entirely, spending her final months staring at corners of rooms only she could see. She died there, quietly, still convinced Daniel was standing somewhere nearby watching. Without her, Whitman Logistics collapsed within a year. The company Daniel's father had built from nothing closed its doors permanently. The fortune Claire killed for scattered across legal fees, unpaid debts, and a business no one was left to run. She got everything she wanted the night Daniel died, and it destroyed her long before the law ever had the chance to. Guilt doesn't always show up in a courtroom. Sometimes it shows up in an empty chair, in a mirror, at the foot of a bed, and it never leaves until there's nothing left of the person who let greed win. If you've ever seen guilt destroy someone from the inside, tell me in the comments. And if you want more psychological revenge stories like this one, subscribe for what's coming next.
For me, this story was not really about the ghost. It was about the guilt. Claire got all the money she wanted, but she lost her face. She could hide from everyone, but she could not hide from herself. So, what do you think? Is guilt a big punishment than jail? Let me know in the comment, and if you enjoy this story, like, don't forget to subscribe. I see you in the next one. Goodbye.